Hey everybody, wherever you may be, call me Felix. Today on Lolo Lito's Pinoy Kitchen, we will be making pinakbet, a vegetable stew similar to ratatouille with crispy fried pork, bagnet or lechon kawali, and flavored with ginger and bagoong or shrimp paste. Although you can find pinakbet in many Filipino kitchens, the dish originated in the north of the Philippines, in the Ilocos region, and is considered an Ilocano specialty. My father, a proud Ilocano, was particularly known by family and friends to make a truly outstanding pinakbet. I'm glad to share this recipe with you, and let's get into the details. You'll need about 10 minutes of prep time to cut the vegetables, and 20 minutes of cooking time to make this pinakbet. Here are the ingredients. First, we have some eggplant. Generally speaking, a younger, slightly longer, less oblong eggplant is preferable. Next, we have some sitaw or long green beans, some shallots, some plum tomatoes, any size of tomato will do. Next up is some okra. Then we have some of these long, sweet green chilies. It happens to be that here in Ilocos, the only chilies available to us are the shorter variety that give off a smoky sweetness but little in anything of spice. The longer, waxy green chilies are preferable as they pack more punch. Now, if you're feeling adventurous, you can use jalapeno or serrano peppers if you love extra heat. Now, one of the more essential ingredients in pinakbet is bitter melon gourd. You can use the smaller Indian bitter melon you see here, or the more oblong Chinese bitter melon. When cooked, the gourd should lend a rather pleasant, bitter green tasting flavor that permeates through the other ingredients and should not be overpowering. Just as important as the bitter melon is the ginger as a permeating flavor agent. And last but certainly not least is our crispy fried pork. You can use bagnet or lechon kawali, and for this recipe we are using bagnet from the prior day. The pork itself doesn't need to be left over and can be freshly made, but making pinakbet is a smart way of using leftover fried pork. And lastly, the one thing you'll notice missing here is kalabasa or squash. In Tagalog preparations, you will find squash included in pinakbet, but typically the Ilocano style refrains from using it. So all the vegetables have been cut. Of course, the chilies you can leave whole. Depending on the size of the tomato, you can leave the... Or you cut them later. Oh, okay. The eggplant, you just halve them, and then, of course, with the green beans, you just, make thirds or fourths out of them. And then, it's pretty straightforward cutting. And then you want to make like medallions out of the bitter melon gourd. This is pretty much all ready to go. So what?
First to go is the ginger.
Yeah.
And then the bagnet.
So if you checked out the Dad's Daludal recipe on bagnet and the taro stems, it's a similar preparation. So what you do is you put your ginger and then you put your fried pork at the bottom, and then you want to layer your vegetables on top. So that the difference here really is that you're layering your ingredients.
And then we put all of them.
And then what you do with the pinakbet is you layer your vegetables, your pork and your ginger are at the bottom. They lend the most flavor. And then when do you put the shrimp paste in, Dad? You put them at the end before you boil? So once this is all layered, Dad, you just put them, the bagoong on top?
Yeah, the last.
Yeah.
And salt.
And salt. And as you can see here, this is a pretty big pot of pinakbet, and you want to have a big stewing pot for this and a lot of ingredients. So that you have a lot left over as well, because the flavor gets better. Practically, you're marinating it overnight after it's been cooked too.
I think two.
You put 2 tablespoons of bagoong. So that's
It
pretty
depends
precise.
on you know.
Yeah, it depends
And
on
then
your taste.
Salt on top.
You don't want to put too much salt because the bagoong is the main flavor agent that adds, the umami flavor. I mean, other than the pork, of course. So this is ready to go. This pinakbet, and then you just cook it straight off like a stew, and that's it. That's all you need to do to cook it. It's just that it's all in the layering.
Put it back.
And why is that the most vital step in cooking pinakbet? It is because it kind of gets the ingredients more spread out. I guess it does. You said it because you don't want it to stick to the bottom too, right?
Yeah. Made a mistake saying 1 cup, just a glass of water.
Okay. So the only difference really we added, the only difference that we added to all our vegetables and all our meat and such, or all the bagoong, is to add 1 pint glass of water. So that gives enough moisture for this pinakbet to boil, and then it will reduce into the salt and reduce into the vegetables, and that's exactly what you want. You don't really want anything. You don't want it too soupy at all. You want the liquid just to bind everything together, all the flavors together. Dad's saying, wow, he's impressed. But really, all that one step is just tossing all the vegetables, all the contents together. So you don't need to, stir the pot at all. In fact, that's what you don't really want to do because you want to have all the flavors marry together in the boiling. And it's just the tossing, accelerates it. And so the cooking time, depending on your portion size, this only takes about 20 minutes, just about. 10 minutes to boil, and then 10 minutes just to get everything, fully cooked. And you can see some of that pork has risen to the top with the tossing, just a bit. So the beauty of this dish really is all the flavors just kind of blending all in together. So that eggplant gets some of that bitterness, it gets some of that pork and such. But it's a really harmonious dish. And of course, almost done. And we'll get to eating it. There you go, this is the final product. It only took about 20 minutes cooking time. Yeah, really nice pinakbet. Lots of bitter gourd here, as you can see. A lot of pork. Pretty much a lot of everything. Yeah, okay, let's put some of this on my plate. Of course you have to have some pork. Right there. I love eggplant, so that's one of my favorite things. And then we need to get 1 chili, I guess. Why not? Piece of okra. And last, but certainly not least, we definitely need a piece of bitter melon. I'll just take this half here. Oh, extra chili. Take some of that fatty pork. Get some of that eggplant. There you go. Not every single thing on the bite. Oh, I can impale that chili too. There you go. Got some pork, got one big eggplant piece, got a little pepper, and a bitter melon gourd piece. Try that out. Really, that's what you gotta do. That's really good. So first of all, that pork gets really soft. That skin and then that meat cooked down. The flavor seeps into all the vegetables. And in turn, you get some bitterness from the gourd and some into the meat. Just a little bit. So it's really harmonious. And of course, the eggplant serves as the vegetable that soaks up all the flavor. And that's really why it's my favorite. It's creamy. And it soaks up the ginger, tomato, and the shrimp paste really well. And Dad finished this off with some sesame oil too. So there's a little bit of like a sesame oil fragrance to it too. And the chili adds a little sweetness too. Like I said, I prefer mine to have a little more heat. And I really want to find those waxy long sweet chili peppers, because those are my favorites. There you go. And if you're wondering how bitter it is, it's not punch you in the mouth type of bitter like the leaves. So the gourd is just, relatively light. If you're not used to it, to bitter melon, what I suggest is maybe eating like Chinese bitter melon preparation, because the Chinese generally, they pair like a dominant flavor like black beans, and then with bitter melon, and then with some pork. And then you get the good contrast between the pork and the sweetness of the pork and the bitter melon. And so there you have it. This is pinakbet, and this is, I think if you had to sum up Ilocos in one dish, this is basically the signature dish of Ilocos. And it's a vegetable stew that's like ratatouille in French, but you have some pork and you have some shrimp paste, so there's definitely more of a Filipino influence. And that does it for this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. And better yet, if you can subscribe for more food videos, especially food videos, because we'll be doing recipes and we'll be doing food reviews too. So once again, please subscribe, and see you on the next video.